Welcome to the Too Much Dip podcast. My name is Dave, and I will be your host today. Helping me out with hosting duties, it's my co-host, live in studio, by way of Austin, Texas, Dylan Shivery.
Hello, David. Quite the intro. Happy to be here. KJ, good to see your handsome face, too, on the screen as we endure Rangers sliding season. Skidding. They're losing a lot of games. That's all.
Was not a good June or start to July.
It wasn't. A lot of season left, though, Dave. Anyway.
Yeah, actually half of it.
Yeah.
So, pretty dope. Pretty dope.
Yep.
Let's introduce the guy that Dylan kind of introed, but more just kind of complimented him as well. It's KJ, live from a dehumidified basement in Madison, Wisconsin.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Dylan. Allow me to be the first to unofficially say happy birthday to someone near and dear to me. Someone I'm quite fond of. I love with my whole entire heart, and that is Dippy. As every year around this time, I'm reminded that we've done this yet for another year. So Dippy is now 3 years old, as is my son Kai. So complete coincidence, but shouts to the little man.
Well, guess what? There's some other celeb birthdays today, including, if you're ready, Bad Bish Lily, TikTok star, Mason Thames, movie actor, and Sofia Vergara, 51.
I'll take that.
Looking pretty good.
Bad Bish Lily.
Bad Bish alert. That's her name.
I
don't know much about her.
She doesn't look so bad.
Which one?
Can we leverage AI tools to give them better filters on like the word celebrity when they pull those birthday lists?
Oh, KJ, Nikola Tesla was born on this day, 1856.
NBA champion.
That's yeah. Also, Antonio Brown, not going great for him. I'm not really sure what's going on there. We've kind of avoided that. But one thing we're not going to avoid, and that's plugging our socials.
Wow.
Follow Too Much Dip on Instagram. Follow Too Much Dip on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, at DC Ruff, at D Carter Ruff on Twitter. Who else?
You can hit me at D Shivery on Instagram and Twitter, 4 E's.
Also CH. You should probably just spell it out.
CHEVERERE. There you go.
And KJ, explain your totally easy to know handle.
KJ Ellis with ones as the L's. Add a little layer of ambiguity. And how about this? I went up all of you, and here in mid-July 2023, I say follow us on Threads. Too Much Dip podcast on Threads, if you will.
Would love to see the
we'll get it there, but follow first and it'll warrant our time.
I don't know if our social guy has Threads in his his social deck, but we need to talk to him about that because we should be posting on there. I honestly haven't looked at it in a couple of days on either account, like my personal or Too Much Dip or Washed. So I don't know. I've kind of, it's weird. It's like, yeah, dude, Threads, awesome. And I'm still fucking around on Twitter pretty heavy.
I can't do Twitter and Threads in tandem. Once one of them is dead, I will move to the other one, and then I'll forget about the one that's dying.
Yeah.
But until then, I can't operate on two at a time. It takes a lot.
It is too much. It's too much. Are we Team Britney or Team Wemby?
Can we can't be team both?
Go explain why you're team both. Go ahead.
Well, I've always been a big Britney guy. It's Britney, bitch. She was a former love of my life. And she's kind of going through a lot, Dave. Had some tough times. And of course, I'm a Wemby guy because I'm a Spurs guy. And it's not like he smacked her. He didn't do anything.
Is he straight up on bust watch?
Did you see his game last night?
It's fine.
It was really good.
KJ, you're a guy who's usually on bust watch. What do you think?
Well, when we're talking Britney, how could I not be? First and foremost, I love the modern day news cycle. And its predictability. And I don't even mean like my willingness to hope somebody gets Ken boned 3 days after like rising to fame. Who was that? Can't even remember his name. What's Block? Stone? What's the golf guy?
Oh, I thought you meant Bad Bish Lily. No, you're talking about Michael Block, the original Block Party.
Yes, exactly. But in this case, we have like a legitimate pop star icon and like a certified rising superstar.
The most hyped draft pick since LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And their paths cross. And then you add in like the layer of he's French. It's in Vegas, which for me, it does a little bit of something. And there's 5,000 cameras and, people watching the event happen. So shouts to TMZ for like within 24 hours, we had full video of this. And I've got to say, everybody was right, except for Britney didn't get backhanded. She kind of hit her own face. Blocking a backhand, it seemed to appear, or getting her hand swatted off of him.
Not to defend the security detail here, but did he even see what he was doing? It looked like he just did it behind his back and just kind of.
He was moving. Like what I imagine. I didn't see any other angles. We need to Zapruder this thing. He was throwing her hand back. She was reaching out, grabbing him, and he kind of like went to throw her hand off. And I guess he was definitely not looking.
Yeah, he wasn't looking.
He's looking straight ahead.
Yeah, maybe and
was not gentle about it at all.
Maybe a tad aggressive, but you can't assume that the person reaching for your guy is a famous pop star. So.
Yeah, the guy, he didn't look like a young guy. He looked like an old guy who may or may not know. I mean, he's heard of Britney Spears,
but was he looking?
Yeah, there you go. Brings me to my next question. Go ahead, KJ. Sorry.
Before we get to the knowing Britney. I would say also, I completely lost my train of thought. Like it's going to come back to me here in a moment, but the being in Vegas part of this, no, that's not what I was going to get to. Britney of all people has likely been in this very same scenario 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
Like has been surrounded by, swaths of security and probably still is, especially in Vegas. Like, she should know better.
Well, did she? I don't know. I've seen the fallout. I'm gonna just keep it down the middle, just to avoid the wrath of Britney Twitter, as Wemby has now learned. After one mediocre game, now they're just posting highlights of him just falling and missing free throws, which is kind of a funny turn here. I'm curious because people were posting photos of Britney, like grew up playing basketball in some capacity in Louisiana. I'm wondering if she was familiar with his game or if she owes him an apology.
Who do you think's more likely to know the other?
That's a really tough one.
18-year-old French kid. You got to remember, like his first 13 years, she was under lock and key, under conservatorship. Maybe his first 16 years of his life. And so present on the internet, present as a name, but
he's heard, my guess is he's heard the name, but like wouldn't be able to pick her out of a lineup because why would he know who she is? I mean, 18 years old, a Frenchman. She hasn't been relevant in a very long time, musically anyway. I mean, not to be rude.
You're saying that she doesn't have any new bops?
She doesn't have any new bops, no.
This reminds me, this is not a completely great comparison, but this last year, the NBA is fun for a lot of reasons, but Howard Stern came under some fire for some comments he made about how when he sat courtside, or that I believe his quote was, none of the young black guys knew who he was. And it's like, yeah, dude, like you're Howard Stern, your demographic cuts off somewhere, man. I would think more people would know Britney Spears. An 18-year-old's more likely to know Britney Spears than fucking 60-something Howard Stern.
Probably so.
Yeah. I would say that even as popular as he is, he's radio-based. Like, I know Howard Stern fairly well, and I probably only see his face once a year. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not watching unless, you know, I'm not a daily fan. Like I'm not watching him on YouTube. So just in casual knowledge, you don't see him that often. Randy, I'll put you on the spot. Are you familiar with the singer Sade?
Sade?
Sade.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So I'm, you know, maybe not a one-to-one example, but I'm just saying like solving for international star, age discrepancy, and like popularity at their like height. Sade of Smooth Operator fame, or as my son will say, Smoothie Operator.
Nice.
You know, not as you know, I understand when young kids don't know everybody. You know, see Bob Lilly, if you will. But whatever. Unfortunate. Glad that we were able to move past it.
Did you meet Bob Lilly and not know it was him?
No. I just feel like the concept that everybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I feel like, believes that Bob Lilly, aka I guess Mr. Cowboy, the first Cowboy ever drafted, is like somebody everybody should know if they grew up knowing the Cowboys.
Mr.
And I'm
Cowboy.
like,
That's
Because
unstable.
why?
Any relation to Bad Bish Lily?
Yeah, it's her daddy.
Oh.
Grandpa, actually.
Eli's cousin.
He's 83. It wouldn't be her dad.
Your great grandpa.
He had her at 61 is when he impregnated the
Pacino.
young lady. TCU too. Interesting. Bob Lilly, of course, a defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. Played for 14 seasons. Okay.
Well, obviously.
Hall of Famer. Okay.
Mhm.
Understand?
I certainly do. Yes.
Speaking of bad bitches, we got to go to MLB. We're at the All-Star break, and let's just say that the only podcast with the guts to have someone that they absolutely know is going to become an All-Star on their show before it happens, it's us. Because guess what? Brent Rooker of the Oakland Athletics, the Oakland A's, Dylan.
Allow me to be the first to congratulate our good friend of the show, Brent
Indeed.
Rooker, on the All-Star nod. That's quite an accomplishment. Very humble young man who we had on here before the season started, and he was talking about making the roster and kind of just in happy to be here mode, you know, and now he's a freaking All-Star. He's got 17 home runs at the break, I want to say. 18 maybe, I think it's 17.
I don't know about you, but I've lost track.
Did you see the one he hit in Boston yesterday?
Was it a Clablamo?
He absolutely whizzed on
Did
it.
Jared
man.
Carabas, all caps, post the video and just have like a caption about it? It was like, hit the tits off of this fucker. He doesn't tweet like that, but he does that. He'll post some bombs on there.
He freaking whizzed on it. It's worth a search and a watch. It was a shot. He hit two in that series. I
Bombs at
believe.
Fenway are fun.
Yeah,
That's got to be the most fun hitting park, right?
yeah. It hit off of the the sign,
San Fran.
the sign above the green monster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It had been more to the left or the right. It would have cleared. It would have gone out of the ballpark, but it hit that sign and bounced back. But it was a shot.
KJ, what did you say?
I would throw in San Fran as what would come to mind for funnest,
Yeah.
most fun places to hit bombs, just because the whole kayak scene out there in the bay.
Nice. You can be careful out there in the bay on those kayaks now with the orcas doing what they're doing. Did you ever think about that?
I haven't yet.
What if the orcas start just sniping balls? Like there's, kayak guys like, going all hard trying to get it. And this orca just comes up, flips his shit, takes the ball.
Yeah, I gotta think that's probably not in play, but
You ever seen when the orcas use their tail and flip up a seal and it goes like 40 feet in the air?
dude, that shit's sick.
What if they did that with a baseball and it goes back in the stadium? Like, like when they say throw it back, you catch the opposing team's home run. What if the orca did that? Would that not be pretty
It's
sick?
Mookie Betts.
That would be very
It's
sick.
Mookie Betts'
Yeah.
homer. They need to want
They
it.
flip it like, get it out of here. They do it for some reason with a Brooklyn accent. Yeah, it's very confusing. 2 minutes. Of the
I'm
show.
glad we didn't attempt a San Fran accent. That would not have gone well for any of us.
Okay. It's not going well for the Texas Rangers.
Hey,
Still 2
sports
games
guy.
up. Still 2 games
Still
up.
2 games up.
I'd like
It's
to
a good
thank the
first
Mariners.
half.
Would like to thank the Mariners.
Way ahead of projections.
Pretty stoked for the Mariners to go into Houston and take 3 of 4. Because otherwise, oof. A lot of goodwill lost if you blow that lead before the season's over. Like I would imagine that there's a good portion of the Texas Rangers fan base. It's like, you know what? We're probably not going to win this division. Astros just have been doing it for too long, last few years, and have the pedigree. But we're going to win. We still have like a 96% chance at the playoffs. wild card's going to happen. That being said, that was not fun. It was not a fun way to end it, but we do have 6 All-Stars, so that's cool.
All-Star break comes at a good time. Give a chance to reset. Give all the guys who aren't playing the game a few days off there. And let's get back after a second half, Dave. Yeah, I was wondering if the Astros kind of broke the Rangers there, that series in Arlington. They took 3 or 4 and talked a lot of shit on the way out of town. Didn't like that.
Did they?
What's that
Oh, yes.
that dork Tucker? What's his first name?
Tucker Max.
No.
I don't
Ross
know.
Tucker, some just corny. Anyway,
Bowling?
he talked a little shit. I think he called the Rangers their little brother or some shit like that.
Ooh, dang, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we're able to rebound from that.
Yeah, we'll see about it.
Yeah, thank you, man. Did you see who we drafted yesterday with the 4th pick in the draft?
Your boy.
We had two fellers from LSU go 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Who went 3? I should know this. I should have looked this up before because the Rangers at 4, Wyatt Langford of Florida, an efficient bat flipper, a guy with sick power. I think potentially the best bat in the draft. That's pretty exciting that he was there because he was being talked about as a top 3 pick, maybe a first overall. But
Local kid from, since we're talking draft, local kid from Round Rock, Texas, which is just outside of Austin. Was picked with the first pick of the 3rd round. He throws like 101 miles per hour as a high school kid. A lot of hope there from Texas fans that he would get drafted later and actually show up to campus as he is a Texas commit. But I think he's going to chase the money and skip college baseball.
Paul Skeens,
good.
number 1, the pitcher who also absolute gas. And then Dylan Cruz, number 2. Tigers took, high school kid. That's right.
Max Clark.
I was kind of worried that we were going to end up, I say having to draft Max Clark, center fielder, which I'm sure he'll pan out to be fine. But I'm kind of in on the dude who just, went to the College World Series, a little bit older, maybe not as much of a project in the minors. Who knows? But Wyatt Langford, shout out to the SEC. Jeez, just means more to
Can I
them.
bring our can I bring our attention briefly to the 20th pick overall, which I think is a pretty cool story as well. High school kid, 17 years old, I believe youngest first round draft pick this year. Arjun Namala. He is out of Florida. First generation American. His parents immigrated from India. He grew up playing cricket before getting into baseball, basketball, and I believe soccer as well. But primarily focused on basketball and baseball before going completely all in on baseball. Shortstop, 6'1", good arm, can hit, strikes out a bit. All of this off the top of my head. I've been following this kid since, junior high, just kind of throwing out some details I was fully aware of. But I think it's a tremendous story. It's not as if you get too many MLB players of Indian descent in the big leagues. Most recently, I won't say failed, but outcome pending. Draft pick of the Rangers, Kumar Rocker, being one, but I believe it was his grandparents who had immigrated, not his parents. So pretty cool little story. Playing in a place like Toronto as an international player. If he turns out to be anything, I think it will become quite profitable for both he and the Blue Jays.
I feel like if you grew up playing cricket and baseball, I feel like those two things could complement each other very well because of the hand-eye and the speed of the game. Does that jive? I don't know how into cricket you've been in your day.
I have never played cricket, and I do see what you're saying. It's, the swing, obviously a very different type of swing. Cricket is more upright, like a golf swing would be, I guess, since you're like basically hitting it off the ground. But got to be some similarities somewhere in there. Yeah.
Well,
Fielding for sure. Defensive part, definitely.
The podcast is not afraid to make those comparisons. Like, we'll put ourselves out there. Like, maybe we're wrong, but like we went down swinging.
Before we move on from baseball, I want to spend a couple minutes on Ellie De La Cruz. Sure you guys caught the highlight of him over the weekend. I was trying to think back on if I could ever recall a player doing what he did on the base paths. I can't. I'm not saying it's never been done before, but if there has been done before, it's been a very long time, I would think.
61, I believe, most recently.
1961.
Mm.
Okay. If you missed it, the young rookie in Cincinnati, Ellie De La Cruz, who's phenomenal, very tall, power hitting, very fast, shortstop. Shortstop? Is that what he plays? What does he play? Is he on an outfield?
Mm-hmm. Shortstop. He is 6'5" at shortstop.
So he's
fun as hell, man.
like I said, he's very fast runner. He gets on first base, and in 2 pitches, he steals second base, then he steals third base, and then he steals home.
And then he stole our hearts.
And it's phenomenal. The guy is, and then he stole our hearts. The guy is phenomenal. He's one of these guys that you like tune into just to watch play.
Dude, with his highlights,
he's unbelievable.
Okay, you know, I reference like baseball highlights on Twitter where it's like home runs, yay. Home runs are great. I love seeing bombs. Who doesn't? We were looking at some before the show. But
Oppenheimer? Okay, never mind.
His highlight when he hits a TL, you stop down on Twitter, not Threads.
Yeah, not on Threads. You just keep going.
Threads hasn't gotten it. They need to. Yeah, Threads is not for that. But on Twitter, like that's predominantly. You'll be surprised to learn that most of my Cincinnati Reds content comes from Twitter. I'm not tuned in on the League Pass or whatever, watching the Reds. But this guy's a must-see TV.
He is unbelievable.
As an NL Central fan, given that's where my Pirates and Brewers do their work, it's good to see that it's also paying off and wins as well. Ellie De La Cruz was not challenged, but the bat he plays with has like an extra nub at the base of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall who they were playing against, but the other team complained. They had it looked at, and initially the umpire said, okay, you can't play with it. Then whatever, New York calls in, they're like, yeah, he can't. It's legal. It's been checked out before. Very next at bat, hits a homer with it, points at the bottom of the bat,
yeah,
tosses it,
yeah,
and runs the bases. Like
the little nub down there basically serves as a counterweight. It can increase your bat head speed.
Centrifugal force. I get it.
Yeah. I could see why it would be outlawed. But if it's legal, I don't know why like it's not more prevalent. I don't know. I have questions myself about it. So.
Not enough people are talking about corked bats. Remember in Sammy Sosa, was it Sosa who got busted with a corked bat?
Yeah, the guy was a cheating scumbag.
Dude, like that's so embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
A corked bat is like potentially the most Bush League way to get caught cheating.
Oh, I forgot who it was. This was probably 15 years ago. Someone was using a corked bat. I think he was trying to get out of a slump. So he corked his bat.
We've all been there.
And he broke it in one of the at-bats.
That's what I was thinking Sosa did.
It wasn't Sosa did, but another guy, this one like shattered.
Oh,
so he quickly ran around and picked up all the pieces of the bat to get it back to dugout before anyone noticed. Like that's like a bat boy's job, right? But he was like, "Fuck," and just went around like picking up all the pieces of the bat. And the umpire's like, "Wait, slow down, buddy. Why are you scrambling to do this so quickly?" And then they found out that the bat was corked. So
that's why major league teams should have the Labrador that runs out of the dugout. The dog bat boy, the bat dog.
I love those.
Just for corked bat, like just in case that happens, because no one's gonna like walk up and take a bat out of the golden retriever's mouth, right? You do that, you're just a dickhead.
When I was a kid, we would take just a regular aluminum bat, but we take the top. There's a little plastic cap. Take that off, and you'd fill it with expanding foam. And you put the cap back on.
Dude,
never actually use it in a game. I swear, but we did it and just fucked around with it, and there is a big difference.
So, KJ, you know Big League Dreams up in Mansfield, the sports rec park where you flag football games, softball
stadiums
games.
All look like MLB stadiums. Like they at least mock them up to look like regular stadiums.
It is a pretty sick complex, but I have friends who played in softball leagues, and they said, and these are like dudes who really just play beer league like Randy and Dylan play. There was a dude who, out of the back of his truck, you could go pay him, and he would do what Dylan just said. I assume he would like illegally modify your softball bat, which I almost respect it because of how pathetic it is. Like if that is like the highlight of your life, like, you know what, dude, it's Tuesday night. I'm gonna go out there and hit some bombs tonight, illegal bombs. I gotta respect your hustle a little bit, but that is
I-
truly a low point of someone's life, right? If they're illegally modifying their softball bat for a
Yeah, that's
intramural game, or
yeah, that's a little sorry. But if you're doing it with a wood bat, like if you get paid to play baseball, that is such a risk, man, because those things break all the time. And if it does, and you get exposed, that's a major tarnish on your record there. But also, you're going to get suspended and fined and all that shit. Yeah, not a smart play.
fully aware of flag modification that goes on in flag football quite a bit. So, yeah, it's not hard to find that kind of mentality.
I
I
love
won't
it.
name any names, but likely somebody I'm related to.
Okay.
We've talked a lot of baseball, but I do want to quickly acknowledge that the MLB, what they've done this weekend, I don't know. It's not like I'm tuning in every single All-Star break for everything they do, but they're going all out this year with the MLB thing. I can confidently say I remember when the MLB was like, hey, nobody's watching. How do we add like some interest in this? Okay, we'll give home field advantage to the team that wins the All-Star game.
Mm.
I thought it worked. I thought it was a good decision. I guess they've scrapped that. They've gone to a full player draft now. But everybody's still tuning in for one thing, I would say, and that's the home run derby, at least me. When they screw up the rules of how they do it, it's not fun, but the last few years they've gotten it down. 2019 being most recent of the current rules, or I guess when they changed the rules most recently, and they've started getting it right. When Pete Alonso and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. went head to head, Vlad Jr. hit 91 home runs in that home run derby. Ended up losing in the final round to Alonso, but the previous record in an entire home run derby was 61 home runs.
Reminds me
by
of
Juan Soto.
the Josh Hamilton year where he went off in the second or right before the
Yeah.
finals and ended up losing to a dude out of Minnesota.
Man, I gotta say, I have to disagree with you, KJ. I hated the format where the All-Star game would determine who had home field advantage in the World Series. Because it
sucked.
most people in that game didn't get to play in the World Series. It didn't and it was just a meaningless exhibition game. The point of it obviously was to make the game more important, to get more people to tune in. That part I understand.
This is all because
But-
it ended in a tie. They called it a draw. Remember that? The year
It was like a 14 inning tie or some shit.
they called it, and everybody got mad, and so they knee jerk reacting like, "All right, well, fuck it, put it. Let's make it for the biggest."
For that game to determine who has home field advantage in the freaking World Series was just the dumbest thing of all time. I hated it much.
I think to settle this, they should just play the World Series at Big League Dreams in Mansfield, Texas. Just a neutral site,
Big
unless the
Field
Rangers
Dreams.
are in it. Yeah, Big League Dreams.
Big League Dreams.
Yeah, look it up. It's quite the complex. It's very cool.
Assuming they've kept up with it, it was a very cool concept when they started it. But yeah, last note on the home run derby. Vlad and Alonso will be back tonight, Monday night. If we get this out before then, definitely watch, or we'll talk about it next week. But we'll save it for next time we talk about the home run derby, because I think the concept of picking who's pitching to you in a home run derby is just so insane to me. Like, a lot of players go with their dads or bench coach or somebody who can keep it consistent. I think we've talked about that a little bit. And I'm like, just give them a pitching machine. Like,
Nobody
I don't
wants
want
to
to get out
see
there and
that.
get fucked over by the Holger of baseball,
Man.
like screwing up my home run derby shot.
Okay,
You're-
confusing reference, but I get it.
Your pitcher can be a total game changer, or it can actually wreck your
Do you ever
chances.
feel bad when they start missing that strike zone and you're just like, oh, he's panicking? It's like
The
it's like their
clock's
high
ticking.
school coach.
But you get to pick. You get to pick who it is. So
Yeah.
it's on you, really.
You can't. They're never gonna do a pitching machine,
I know,
but you just want that
because they're not
consistency.
brave enough.
They're okay. What if they tricked it up and you couldn't just have the pitching machine? Like, they'd have to put like a costume or something over it. So it, like, not saying it has to look like a pitcher, but like think of like a mini golf hole that is like a giant clown that like spits the ball out. Think about that.
I don't know why I'm imagining like the Chuck E. Cheese performers just like up on a stage, but the ball's like flying out of one of their hands.
I hate hitting off of pitching machines.
Oh,
You can't.
I know. I get
There's
it.
no arm. There's no arm to tell you exactly when the ball is going to get released. So you're just kind of waiting
This
there
is-
for
They
it.
do this one. They hold it up.
Yeah.
And they put it in. You're just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
man.
big net all over this. You in the shrimping industry, all over, just selling more nets. That's what pitching BP coaches are all about.
And
More
you
net.
You get your shithead friend in there behind the jugs machine who cranks it up to like 115. It's like, all right, man. You get smoked.
Does the pitching machine ever fail and like fire one off at you? I feel like it's pretty consistent.
It's pretty consistent in like a little zone. It's not going to go at you unless someone points it at you, which can also happen.
No way.
Who we got? Oh, Adolis is in the home run derby tonight. Little Ranger action.
You can't get Brent Rooker in
didn't see
there.
that.
What's going on?
No, I feel like the same way about whenever there's a Ranger in there. I don't know if the stats back it up, but I'm like, man, I don't really want we're in the middle of like a pennant race. I don't want the player I like that's on my team. I don't really want them out there hitting 91 home runs. 91
Not
home
before the
runs.
trade deadline.
Before the trade deadline.
Think
Good
about
point.
I just want my boy Brent to get some exposure, you know?
He is. Look at this show.
He's so cool.
Hundreds of people are going to hear his name because of this show.
Wow.
See him in Atlanta.
What's next? Great opportunity to talk about our good friends at Goodr. Goodr. We're talking stylish sunnies starting at only $25 a pair. Yes, lightweight and comfortable sunglasses. And Dylan, 100% polarized.
They're nice, man.
You know, I've been rocking mine at DC Rough on Instagram when I was in the pool over the 4th. I was rocking my Goodrs.
I wore mine at Klein's wedding ceremony.
did?
Outside.
You did. It was hot and you were good.
I was goodered up, Dave.
You were goodered up. Stylish, a ton of cool colors, ton of cool styles. If you're active or you run, they don't slip or bounce. Can confirm that. Not because I do a lot of activity or running outside, but because I had to chase my kid down the sidewalk recently. Scooters are cool, man. They're cool until your kid gets like very, very confident on them. Easy to clean, 100% polarized, and again, only $25. Lightweight, love how comfortable they are to wear all day. Because they're so affordable, I don't have to really worry about losing or breaking them. Yeah, I don't want to break them. I don't want to lose them. But if I do, it's not the end of the world. It's not keeping me up at night that I just lost a pair of sunglasses that, set me back a few.
Good peace of mind.
$25, man. A 1-year warranty, 30-day free returns, 100% satisfaction guaranteed, and KJ, Goodr is a 100% carbon neutral company, and plus 1% for the planet. How does that make you feel, KJ?
You were asking what their footprint was like, and I was like, you can't see it. They don't have one. All neutral. Love it.
Yeah, you can confirm that conversation was had recently. If you want to support the show and pick up a pair, Goodr is giving Too Much Dip listeners free shipping on your first order. That's goodr.com/dip. So go to goodr.com/dip and use code DIP to get free shipping. Goodr offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Find your pair at goodr.com/dip and use code DIP to get free shipping. That's GOODR.com/dip. Use code DIP. We got to talk flash mobs.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about the concept of a flash mob in at least
You know why?
2 to 3 years.
Because they haven't been a thing for several years.
So when they told us that LIV was going to be golf but louder, we didn't necessarily believe them. But they proved us wrong because they're doing flash mobs. Actually, they should change it to golf but cooler because there's nothing cooler than a flash mob.
When does LIV get rolled into the whole PGA Tour umbrella thing? Like, when is it going to dissolve? Basically?
Dylan, I got some bad news. This thing is about to draw the fuck out. This is going to be the biggest beating that we cannot cover every week because it's just.
Because I was going to say, if they're on the way out, like, fuck it. Let's just do whatever we want.
Let's get Hillary on there doing a mannequin challenge.
Yeah, let's go double middle fingers on the way out and just embarrass ourselves. But yeah, flash mobs are so even when they were cool, they were lame and corny.
How many have you done? Because you used to do them quite a bit back a few years ago.
If my best friend in the world came up to me And he was, and let's say this was height of flash mob mania, which was, I don't know, 2012. I don't remember when this was all going down.
2011.
Hey man, I really want you to, like, there's this group, we're doing this flash mob. It's at the mall, and we need bodies. So you want to hop in there with us? I would never talk to that best friend again. That would be the end of our.
That would end the friendship.
That would end our friendship.
I feel like street takeovers are the new flash mob, where everybody shows up and just does donuts, and inevitably some kid walks out and just gets smoked. But everybody's got it on camera, and instead of like helping him up, they run over and just put their camera in his face, like, dude, you just dislocated your hip.
A good rule of thumb I've always gone by it and served me well up until now is that when a car's doing donuts, don't walk up to it.
Yeah.
Because you probably will get hit by the car, and you're not going to win that battle.
Yeah. Facts.
So.
Fair.
KJ, you had truck nuts once. Did you do any donuts? Drag those fuckers?
I was doing nothing but hitting every speed bump I could find.
And they mysteriously flew off, man. That's crazy. Oh, can I
flash mob brought me back to the fact that I believe it was ABC, a large media company here in the United States, decided, how about we invest millions of dollars to hiring Howie Mandel to host the show Mobbed, where they didn't do anything but plan and film flash mobs in 2011.
Well, I cannot tell you how bad that sucks. That sucks. There's been some low points in American culture the last 30 years. A lot of them. That's one. Maybe the lowest.
Mary F. Kill, flash mobs, mannequin challenge, Harlem Shake.
Ooh, I marry Harlem Shake.
Harlem Shake was kind of fun.
How did it get named the Harlem Shake? Because the Harlem Shake was an actual dance that came out of Harlem.
I think the actual dance is supposed to be like featured in your video somewhere.
Okay.
I think.
I could tell you one Harlem Shake video that didn't have that featured, and it was one you were in.
No, I was never in one.
Oh, I've seen it.
No.
I've seen it.
I believe
flash
the
mobs.
song was called Harlem Shake, is what co-opted the actual dance.
Okay. Because I'm thinking like glory days of Bad Boy Records, Mace.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of these. Dylan, look at him doing.
Okay. That's good, Dave.
You know, I had to do it to him.
Are you having a stroke?
That was good.
Thanks, man. I've been working on it.
Yeah.
We all know what ended Harlem Shakes, and that is everybody who gives any money to that horrible human being who wears a lot of orange and blue, makes kid movies for
Blippi.
Essen and his friend's head or whatever he did in a Harlem Shake video.
Shout
I
out
refuse to let my kids interact with any of that because of that.
Okay, it was one bad day. One bad video. We've done bad videos. Randy's probably done a bad video or two. He's probably watched a few.
Parks had a very brief Blippi phase back in the day.
Just a blippy on his radar.
This was pre-pooping on his friend, though.
Ah, yes. Before we knew.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that we have not discovered Blippi in my household yet. Like, I'm aware. I think Alyssa's aware. I'm kind of waiting for her to like want to show it to Rhodes because there's a pretty good chance she doesn't know about Blippi's history on Harlem Shake pooping on his friend. But I can't wait to tell her when she's like, "Oh, hey, check it out. Rhodes loves Blippi," and I'll be like, "Actually,
when your demographic is like toddlers up to like 4 or 5, probably don't poop on someone and put it on the internet because their parents are going to catch wind of it and it's going to be a whole thing, and you might get."
What if that is that's what you put a Blippi costume on the pitching machine at the home run derby? It's like a recreation of that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
I feel like I owe it to the public to say they have replaced the actor, which still, I'll stick with Miss Rachel for a number of reasons. But you asked about Flash Mob, Harlem Shake, or Jen Seltering or planking. Which one did you say?
Mannequin Challenge.
Oh, Mannequin Challenge.
The one that lost Hillary the election because she mannequin challenged on her private jet with like her entire team. And then at the end, she started talking into the camera like, "Hey, it's important to get out there and vote." It was like, this isn't how it's supposed to end. I mean, I think it didn't really matter at the end of the day, but that was one little part I have to nitpick on.
What's Jen Selter up to? I haven't heard
Mm.
that name in a minute.
Why don't you look it up?
She still work out? She probably does.
Oh yeah, she's an American internet
Still
celebrity.
rocking some V. Stiviano glasses or visors at all
Damn,
times.
she's got hella followers. Good for her.
Yeah, I don't even remember the mannequin thing, but I guess I'm seeing it now. Yeah, I'm not even going to go through my FMK. We've talked about it long enough. Everybody knows. All in on flash mobbing, apparently.
So anyway, Liv did a flash mob, is what we were trying to say. No,
What's the Brooks versus Wolf? I did see this. This is worth our time.
yeah. So this is a little bit of juice, coming from Team Smash. No, I know that's the team you've been following.
Smash.
Shout out to Kai. That's a old internet reference. Remember, then he killed a person.
He was Kai, the homeless guy.
It was
That's
Kai, the
true.
homeless
That's
guy.
Not KJ son.
He and
No, not
Forbath.
KJ's son.
Okay.
KJ's son, to be clear, not named after homeless Kai who killed somebody after he did the smash video.
Possibly.
Yeah, so Brooks Koepka is the captain of Team Smash. And, Matt Wolf, you're familiar with Matt Wolf, former Okie State Polk,
Yeah.
great player in college, had
Wow,
a
that swing.
good couple years on tour, left tour for Liv, and he was a Team Smash guy, but it's not going well. Here's a quote from Brooks. Koepka said he has basically given up on him. I mean, when you quit on your round, you give up and stuff like that. That's not competing, Koepka said. I'm not a big fan of that. You don't work hard. It's very tough. It's very tough to have even like a team dynamic when you've got one guy that won't work. One guy is not going to give any effort. He's going to quit on the course, break clubs, gets down, bad body language. It's very tough. I've basically given up on him again. A lot of talent, but I mean, the talent's wasted.
Is that how you guys feel when you play golf with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just pouting and throwing shit.
I got to say, like, I've had some harsh things said to me from coaches. I'm sure we all have. That is one that's pretty biting, and I don't really know how they can mend that fence.
What's the old saying about criticizing privately and praising publicly? Is that how it goes?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches adopt that, not Brooks.
Brooks
though.
has not adopted that.
No,
mantra.
he went to the media. He put it out there. He put it on the streets, Dylan.
Yeah, this is pretty sorry, man. I don't care how true it is. They might have like a personal beef that we don't know about. That is like, so Koepka's, I don't know. He's probably just a dickhead. I mean, I think we already know that he is kind of a dickhead, but this is a sorry thing to say about your teammate
So
or anyone in general.
Wolf has also been fairly transparent, I believe, before he even left the PGA Tour about like his time off he had to take, mental health, get his mentals right.
Mm-hmm. Get your chicken. What is it?
Take care of your chickens.
Take care of your chicken.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch, yeah.
Take care of your chicken.
That was about money, I think.
I thought it was mental health.
Maybe.
It was both. You're right.
Okay.
Cool. We're both right.
That's great, man.
Shaking my hand.
I don't want to shake your hand.
So I don't know, man. I don't know what the status of that is. I don't know what Wolf's issues are currently, but like to go out there in public and just absolutely berate. At least he's creating some headlines for Liv that aren't like, Liv PGA related. This actually gets me a little bit more interested in Liv. Is it funny that Brooks's brother is on the team?
Yeah. Chase? That is
Yeah, Chase.
Mm-hmm.
That's your favorite Koepka.
It is.
You're a Chase guy. And Jason Kokrak.
So Wolf is still on the team, right? Like
Yes.
they're still teammates.
Technically, yes.
Okay. When does their team contract expire? Like how much more time do these guys have stuck to each other?
See, that's
When's
the
free
thing.
agency?
But we just don't know. If anyone, God, you have to be really, really deep in the game to know like team contracts and Live.
Yeah.
Like that's
I
the
do know
next
that
level.
there's been a trade before,
Really?
but I don't know if there's been if that's been discussed right now. Sorry, I think not Mito Pereira. It's happened back in the spring. I want to say Bubba Watson's team traded somebody, but it's not popping up. Everything about their trademark and the merger is like all over the SEO. Matt Wolf's, I didn't realize like his background. I realized he's only 24 or 25, 24, whatever.
Yes,
The young buck.
yes,
Very young.
very young, very talented, very unorthodox.
Which the fact that he's also born in Simi Valley. If he's from there, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative, but it's definitely going to paint what I think of him from a personality standpoint.
So you're painting him as a real bro.
Definitely.
Okay.
And then lastly, for a guy who had a little bit of success, like a couple, good finishes in a couple majors and won, I don't know, the 3M Open. That's his only win on tour. He should be hard selling the fact that he's like a young Tyler Sagan look. Like, this is a good looking dude. We've got some no nap drama going on in my house. But
is everything?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got a lot going on. But I guess to restate that, they should be selling Matt Wolff as like a great looking face. So if he just sucks as a human being, like, that's his loss. But for somebody who I know of his name, I don't see his picture ever. Like, his profile should be much bigger.
Yeah.
Being that young.
I think he kind of has the thought was the reason he went to LIV is because he's a guy who you could see maybe not playing golf in a few years. So you take the money now. He lost his game a little bit for a while. He's not been good on LIV recently. So it's like you take the bag, get paid while you can, and who knows what you're doing after you turn 30. But I always liked him. He was really, really, really fun to watch in college. But if you want to do some really, really boring PGA Tour LIV drama, a longtime member of the tour policy board resigned following the framework agreement between the Tour, DP World Tour, and Saudi Arabia's PIF Public Investment Fund. So basically, this is like I think this is the biggest name to be like, I can't do this. I've got concerns over like how ethical this is working with them. So
I mean, this is
Randall Stevenson. That's a name I've heard somehow.
This
by
is
no laying up.
Question I raised on a recent episode. Like, I mean, if your principles don't align with LIV and where that money comes from, you're kind of forced to swallow your pride and just play anyway, or because that's where the money is. And it's got to be a tough ethical dilemma for some of these people. And obviously this guy is like, I'm out. So see if anyone else follows suit at any point.
I don't know if it was last week or the week before, some talking points got leaked that the tour created, their comms team for Tiger a couple years ago. Just a bad look. And it was pretty embarrassing for the tour, and we didn't really get a chance to cover it, and that's about all we're going to do on it. But if something big happens, we'll talk about it. But if Team Smash has some infighting, we're on it.
Mm-hmm.
We're the number one source for Smash news. We'll keep it up. Dylan, here's a story that might get your interest. Hazing.
Yes.
Have you read this? Unfortunately, not fun hazing. The opposite.
Oh, I only like fun hazing.
Yeah, I do too. Give me a safe ride. I've been drinking all day. Take me to my girlfriend's place.
What for?
I've left my car keys there.
You want to drive?
No.
I thought you were drunk.
No, I'm gonna give them to you so I don't drive.
Oh, okay.
Take me over there so I can get the keys, hand them to you, and don't you dare you.
Yeah. Hey man, take me home.
KJ, what's the breakdown here?
Okay. Northwestern's head coach, Pat Fitzgerald, one of the longest tenured head coaches in college football, second to Kirk Ferentz and maybe somebody else, who knows, but widely viewed as one of the more respectable head coaches, and has been a name up for other gigs in the NFL and around college football for reasons that are a little bit difficult to explain. I think he gets a lot of credit for being the no nonsense persona and the quote unquote, does things the right way persona.
The Wildcat
and then
way.
Produces the Wildcat way. And then produces average to on occasion above average results at Northwestern, which in the Big Ten success looks different than it does around the country sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's the background of who we're talking about. It was announced that he was suspended for 2 weeks due to some in-program hazing recently. And then when the story came out, it was basically the results of an investigation by a Chicago lawyer saying that there were corroborated stories of the reports of hazing, but there was no evidence that the coaches or Fitzgerald specifically knew about it. And that was kind of the gist of it. And he'd be suspended for 2 weeks. Once that came out, a lot of the players that had reported the hazing and former players were like, yeah, BS. Here's additional details and evidence. There's no way he didn't know about it. Like, that's crap. And in the additional details, things began to get ugly. I will say that, like, the specifics of the hazing, I don't think we need to go line by line and be like, oh, is that bad? That doesn't look good for anybody.
We'll do that in a group text.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that, how to put this in perspective, or like on a spectrum of like, we're not approaching Waxahachie volunteer firefighter hazing, nor are we like in Rubnit Odor brother hazing.
Okay. 2 references.
Google those on your own.
No, you're
Google those on your own.
You can't just drop Waxahachie fire hazing. You don't have
This
to.
is broomstick, correct?
Oh, okay.
I believe broomstick penetration, maybe chorizo as well. I believe tube of chorizo is also part of that story. Anyways,
Did you say chorizo?
but 100%. But in the Northwestern story, you get the words dry humping, dark room, underclassmen, like freshmen being hazed by upperclassmen, wearing purge-like masks, having them run through tunnels of guys smacking their buttocks, and then it gets more grotesque from there.
I do like that you said buttocks.
I'm just reading the words in the
I know.
story, so obviously I'm not.
I need to
I'm not like giving my own spin. But with that, I'll go to our local expert and dispatcher from the world of baseball, where we know hazing and oftentimes homoerotic hazing reigns supreme. Dylan.
Yeah, this is
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. I didn't play past high school. All right. We didn't have anything like that. We had some minor hazing stuff, but it was never sexual in nature. We did, however, there's this one, I won't call him a gentleman because he was definitely not that. But
no,
this guy,
sir, more of a scoundrel.
he graduated a year before me, and he did this thing called the light show. And it was like after a game or after practice. It was after a game. He would put on a bow tie and only a bow tie.
Okay.
And he would do this thing, and we would all get in the locker room, and he would dance, like he would turn the lights off, and then someone would like turn the light. He would have a partner, like someone would like turn the light off for him, and he would be doing some kind of like just just gross stuff. All right.
the fuck?
The light show. Yeah.
So is this like a play on Party Boy?
A little bit, yeah, but he was completely
Okay.
naked minus his bow tie, and he would like, you know how people could get. It was
No, I mean you don't have to go into further
You know,
detail. I don't
different,
want
like,
to implicate anybody.
different like penis tricks and like the butthole. It was disgusting. But
He'd hit you with the flying squirrel,
yeah,
fruit basket,
Bat wing.
he would.
bat wing, of course.
It was a little disturbing,
So wait, he was just doing this
just because
for himself. He wasn't like punishing anyone. He was like, well,
It was
showtime.
If you wanted to be in the audience, it was voluntary. You didn't have to stick around for it, but most of us did because we'll see what kind of shit he could come up with next.
Are we
What's he
like
up to?
judging Louis C.K. here on the show, or what are we talking?
Let me see what he's up
I'm
to.
joking because David here is saying, he's the real victim and criminal here.
Yeah, it sounds
Louis
like you
C.K.
guys
was
were,
also
y'all
accused of-
support, y'all are enabling him.
Yeah, we were.
I will add one other anecdote or one other line from this. Player alleged that he witnessed and was forced to participate in what he called the naked center quarterback exchange.
Come on.
Don't think that needs any more explanation. And then I guess
What?
one other, that they were sprayed with a hose that was attached to the shower heads upon entering the shower, but it was like a spigot added to it to make it painful. So-
Oh, that's a different kind of pain.
All of this said, I would say that nobody is irreplaceable. Like living and going through observing college football in the era of the Joe Paternos of the world. This is not that. But like there should not be a person, even with a statue and a building named after him, that cannot be moved aside and things carried on and moved forward. Pat Fitzgerald should not be above it all if this is the case. I'm not saying he should be Art Briles and excommunicated from the sport, but for Northwestern to say, okay, it's time to turn the page, like that's a small price to pay. Pay him, move on, end of story. Otherwise, like you're justifying it to some degree if there's validity to the stories.
Overall record, head coaching record, 110 and 101 lifetime. And he's won at Northwestern the Big Ten West division twice, 2018 and 2020. So
What about the Legends division? I think that's what they called the West in like 2018 or whatever. They used to call it like Legends and Leaders division. Like it was terrible when they rolled it out.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was not East and West initially.
All right. Well, I mean, who's the most prominent Northwestern alum out there? Is it still Wilbon? Wilbon's Northwestern guy. Michael Wilbon. He would always, that's how I got back in the day, like the majority of my Northwestern news.
Isn't it Darren Ravel?
Is he Northwestern?
I think he is. He's always talking about
You,
it.
you're the guy to ask on Ravel stuff.
Dude, I low key love. Yeah, Northwestern.
I
was
love
right.
that he owns it. He never shies away from it, which I respect.
Dude, he's fun. I mean, he's such a dork, but he's a fun dork.
Love fun dorks.
Me too.
All right.
Otto Graham was the number one player of overall all time. 10 seasons in the NFL, 1944 onward. Anyways,
Time to party?
let's sports party. Yeah.
Let's party, Dave.
Okay. This is the part of the show. We podcast and party. What's going on at SDSU?
How about you don't write a letter saying you're leaving a conference and then later say that you're not, because it's going to fuck you over in the end. And we'll hold off on the whole story until like the final word is said. But San Diego State and potentially SMU were rumored to be on the way to join the Pac-12, who's looking for a media deal. That still is yet to happen. Time was running out for SDSU to announce whether they're staying or going. And they tried to have it both ways. Mountain West says, screw that. It's going to cost them millions and millions of dollars.
I don't want bad things to happen to SDSU. That's a team that when they're competitive, when they're good, and it's like gives you another fun team to watch, fun West Coast team to watch. So I need good things to happen to SDSU. This does look like an all-time blunder from the administration, but we will continue to monitor that situation. Wimbledon. Dylan, how much Wimbledon
The
have you
other
been
Wemby.
watching?
The only Wimbledon I've caught is what you guys have had it on in the office here, so it's kind of my background television at the moment. Not much of a tennis guy, but I do love the look of that grass court, Dave.
Number one, Carlos Alcaraz has just defeated Berrettini. Boom.
Oh, he came back and got that. He had
Came
dropped
back and
the
got it. Did drop the-
first set or whatever.
Yes, he did. Real story here. Chris Eubanks. Not sure if there's any relation to Kevin, KJ.
Did you see this, Chris? 6'7", Chris Eubanks.
Chris Eubanks, an American, and a really fun story because everything I've read, I didn't know who he was before this tournament. But that's not crazy because has had a very up and down career, has never really won anything, and has been, a guy that has been even doing some commentating. People thinking he's not going to be in the sport for very long. And he upset the number 5 player in the world. So we still have an American male in Wimbledon, which is fun. My guy Tiafoe lost, got smoked actually. And that was tough, but we will continue to follow Chris Eubanks.
Did you see the interview with Eubanks where he was saying like if he had Alcaraz's like backhand, like he would be crazy good on the tour? Like the things he would do is just incredible.
Oh, it'd be
So,
stupid.
you know, stupid good.
He's Michael blocking us. You see what he's doing? We're never going to get past that.
Raw.
UFC 290, honestly, the best $80 I've ever spent.
Really?
It was the best card.
Really?
It was the best UFC card in, I mean, definitely of this year. I can't remember the last time I had that much fun watching a card. You had Bo Nickel, a young wrestler out of Penn State, and like the next big thing, prospect, getting a first-round knockout in the first fight of the card. You had Volkanovski beating Yair Rodriguez, naming a lot of names. There's a lot of non-household names on this. Robert Whitaker, maybe. Bobby Knuckles getting beat. But did you see the Israel Adesanya entering the cage after that fight? Did y'all happen to see that?
No.
Okay.
No, I saw a lot of fighters exiting the cage or before they entered the cage, handshaking, but we won't normalize that. I didn't see Izzy. What did he do?
I'm gonna put without playing the clip because there's a lot of
I'll look it up on my.
Yeah. Essentially, the guy that beat Robert Whitaker, Dricus du Plessis, is a white guy from South Africa. Israel Adesanya is from New Zealand, but he's of Nigerian descent.
Okay.
And so Israel gets it. This is the next fight. And Israel's the title holder, and there's going to be a very large racial component to this, which they leaned all the way into, and Dana White was completely fine with, and it's going to be awkward. And
Yikes.
we'll watch. I'll send y'all that clip after, but
Yeah, I gotta watch this.
it's going to be a really good fight on paper. Kind of excited for that. I don't know when that'll happen. Maybe December, but we'll check it out. And unless I'm missing something, we are done partying.
You wanna run it back?
Yeah.
Of course, that's the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Happy birthday to Bad Bish Lily.
Love you, Bad Bish.
KJ is always on bust watch. Dave wonders if orcas will begin going after home run balls in San Francisco.
Think about it.
Dave thinks the World Series should be held at Big League Dreams in Mansfield, Texas.
Did you look it up?
No.
Okay.
I was too busy updating Run It Back, obviously. Dylan will aim a pitching machine at you if you're not careful. KJ had truck nuts on his vehicle that mysteriously fell off en route to Dallas. KJ's son has not killed anyone. And finally, KJ said buttocks instead of ass or butt or anything else he could have used there.
But he said buttocks.
Buttocks.
It was the emphasis. It was a little Forrest Gump.
Don't tox me, bro.
Oh, okay.
Classic Cage.
Hope you guys had fun. Hope everybody at home learned something
Had a
today.
pretty good time, man.
Fantastic. All right. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I want my chips with the dip, that's all I know. I don't want my chips plain, I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.